everybody. You can come over here. We're just finishing up the setup. We're gonna go live on Austin, Texas, local channel 16 at 9 p.m. If you'd like to watch on television or Google Fiber, you can do so at supportaustinmusic.com.
Who's watching out there?
Jennifer Harlan.
Hey Jen, how are you? How's that little baby?
Come on up, Seal. Really excited about the show today. I actually had some time to work on some of the intros and kind of start working on the show as what I would like for it to be.
And what would you like it to be? If you were to state your purpose, like what would you like it to be?
I want it to look like we care about it. You know, I want it to look like we put time into it, and I want it, because we're having other people work with us now, and I think that makes us have to be a little bit even more responsible, because now we're handling other people's material too. And I want it to be a place where people can come once a week to kind of find out what's going on in the music world of Austin. I hope that it becomes sort of like a little news hub. That's
an effort to become the media. If the media is not giving you the information that you need, you know, like, do it yourself. And we're going to try to do it with, you know, some journalistic integrity, but also specifically for the live music fans and workers in song here in Austin, Texas.
Yep. At 8:59, I'm going to press the timer, and then I will cue our intro, which I'm excited about.
And that's when we really crank it on.
No, we're going to be the same. We just have an intro, which is very exciting. I hope you're out there watching Sheila and Sheila's mom. This is Sealy Cat. He's our project manager, always here to make sure that we're in good moods. Recently, Sealy has discovered that he is addicted to cat treats. Oh, 8:59. 30 seconds. I see we got some people watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for subscribing. We're definitely trying to move our platform from Facebook to YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook right now, we'll keep using it, but go ahead and go subscribe on YouTube. Hit the little bell when you're there, and it'll give you a notification when our shows go live. And this is a very pretty kitty. He's always got the itchiest head, yeah.
Yep, and Sealy's a real music fan. When I'm practicing instruments.
But wait, there's an intro.
We're going to do a John D. Graham song right now because we're no fools.
You've caught us setting up our instruments. Hi, I'm Jeska Bailey.
And I'm Guy Forsyth, and we're musicians who are taking over media to try to create the type of entertainment we want, and that is live music and talking about the music industry so we can keep in touch with all our other musician friends who are sheltering in place, like most of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are strange and unusual times we find ourselves in. What's the word? Unprecedented. And I guess successfully unprecedented, at least a little bit today. You know, so there's some action on the backfield. But we want to keep the focus of this on music, so...
And this is a song that you wrote a bit ago and is just still relevant.
Yeah, tragically.
Let's try to make this song less relevant, y'all.
Even as a child I knew I would take a bullet for you, but in my life I've never seen someone so lucky grow. one-click solution and the problem's gone. You always liked your hands clean and to manifest the promise of a new machine. Now there's an Armalite rifle underneath your bed, brass bright jacket and a heart of lead. Backhand of God, I heard it said, that Armalite rifle underneath your bed. By all accounts, your run's been good. No one to tell you what you should. You wear the boots around this town, and no one dares to come around. But it doesn't look like you get much sleep, and what you get is fast and cheap. You dream of what they do to you. It's the same as you would too. Now there's an Armalite rifle underneath your bed, brass bright jacket and a heart of lead. An Armalite rifle underneath your bed. The black rifle has its say, ends arguments a block away. Bullet points, talking heads, blue and gray, blue and red, blue and gray, blue and red, misunderstood and overfed. Too much hate to see what you might lose, and not love enough to let you choose. Now there's an Armalite rifle underneath your bed, brass bright jacket and a heart of lead. Backhand of God, I heard it said, that Armalite rifle underneath your bed, that Armalite rifle underneath your bed.
I feel better now.
Oh, modern folk song, that's what we got there.
Modern folk song.
Yeah. So, what do we have in the show today?
Well, up first, I guess we'll keep the same order. If you like the same order, you know. If you don't like, you can let us know. We have Miss Jacqueline Graham, who's a longtime friend of Guy's.
Yes.
And she's kind of doing this little sensitive, serene corner where you can kind of take 5 minutes every day, once a week, and go, oh.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
So everybody, pull up from the crown of your head, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
Come on, do it.
And now it's time for Uncomfortable Conversations
With Jacqueline Graham.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacqueline Graham and this is Uncomfortable Conversations. With everything that's going on right now, I thought it might be best to talk about anger and dealing with anger. I found that a lot of people are looking for a direction for their anger. Of course, there are things that are going to affect you, but a lot of people will find something to point at and say, that's it. That's what's making me angry, to justify. how they're feeling, and unfortunately to feed it. If you are caught in a terrible cycle where you are feeling anger all the time and you don't know why, it's not something outside of you. There are incidences that can be bothersome. There are life events that are horrible, that of course you're going to have an emotional reaction to. But you're the only one who's in control of what's inside of you. No one makes you do anything. No one makes you say anything. I know, because I have had many, many instances in my life where I've unfortunately lost control of myself. I remember one incident in particular that I use to remind myself whenever I run into somebody who's having a bad day and can't control themselves. I had been caught in Chile for a couple of years, and I had left an abusive marriage and was desperately trying to get out, trying to get back to my own country with my child. And my ex-husband abducted my child twice during that time. And the day it happened, I didn't have a car because he'd taken our car from us. The day it happened, I was on my way down to the courthouse to desperately try and file something to keep him to keep my child even more secure in the country, to make sure that my ex-husband couldn't leave the country with him. So I was trying to protect my child. And I borrowed a car and I was heading to the courthouse. And it was a T intersection, somebody on the part of the intersection that's coming into the main road, they were talking on their cell phone and looking the other way. And they drove out, and instead of stopping at the stop sign, they stopped at the line in the middle of the road. They were completely not paying attention. And I slammed on the brakes, or I would have hit them. I wasn't thinking clearly at that point, and I rolled down the window and I started giving that woman an earful, telling her she needed to learn how to drive. She was dangerous to others. How dare she? But basically what I was yelling about was I was terrified and trying to get to where I needed to be to protect my child. I didn't tell her any of that. She didn't know any of that. And the only thing that she's ever going to remember is this insane gringa screaming at her because she had made a mistake. I try and remember that when I run across people who are screaming and behaving badly and overreacting to something, because there is something else behind it, something that's built up, something that they haven't dealt with, and they lose control. It happens to all of us. It's happened to me. But you can't lie to yourself about it. You have to be honest with yourself about it. And you have to work, and you say, okay, that's a trigger. That's a situation where I am in danger of losing my self-control and embarrassing myself. I always say that if somebody gets angry, I try and treat it like somebody who farted in an elevator. It's bad manners. It's a lack of self-control. It affects everybody because it permeates the entire atmosphere. But the only way it's going to affect you is if you breathe it in. So you're going to need to learn how to metaphorically hold your breath when somebody is behaving badly. Don't let it inside. I was in charge of a lot of people in a very large customer service operation for mortgage. And You know, I helped all these people, coach them through dealing with difficult people, but, you know, I was not the ultimate, but I was pretty much where most of the complaints stopped. Because when they got to me, I was focused on a solution. I wasn't caring about the fact that they were angry. I don't care if someone is angry. That is a personal choice. If somebody wants to call and yell, that is a waste of my time. It's a waste of anybody's time. Are you looking for a solution, or are you looking for a punching bag? Are you looking for a solution, or are you looking to feed the anger that you've got inside you and keep it going? Which one is better? Most anger comes from fear of some kind or another. So look for what you're afraid of. Look for what is the trigger that is honestly making you behave the way that you do, or allowing you to give yourself the excuse of behaving that way. We all have it in us to be civil. We all have it in us to be kind, if we just take the time and the effort. So, this has been Uncomfortable Conversations with Jacqueline Graham. Please feel free to contact me if there's ever anything at all that I can help you with. I'm happy to talk about it. My email is going to be down here, jacquelinegraham.voice@gmail.com. Feel free to write to me about anything, and I'm happy to listen, and we'll talk.
First before.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That was wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Your voice itself is so soothing, so wonderful. And I really appreciate your observations, because those are things that right now I think are really valuable for people to keep in mind, because we could all use a lot more empathy.
Yeah.
And righteousness is evil. Righteousness is easy. It is so easy to, people want simple solutions. They want to be able to narrow their responses to black and white. And the world is a complicated place. And this cat is going to eat your hair.
He's so happy on my lap, and he started eating my hair. He's going to get dismissed.
Perhaps you could sing a nice, nasty song and
a nice, nasty song.
And
I have the perfect one. You scared him. This is a song that Guy and I wrote like 3 years ago, I think now. There he goes again, with that same old little ditty about Jane. How are you out there? I also want to mention our Patreon page.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. If you go to patreon.com/Guy Forsyth, sign up for Patreon for $5 like minimum a month. You can provide enough food that our cat doesn't have to eat my hair. It's true.
And everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you intro the next segment because it's with you in it.
Well, the last two songs that we performed are originals of ours, and we're trying to be careful about copyright laws, so we're not shut down.
Write some music.
Because like musicians are really thriving off the half a penny that they're getting for like 1,000 plays and stuff like that. So it's a dog eat dog world out there. So we've decided to do a special segment on music that is in the public domain. Yes, the public domain. Music that you own. Each week, Nevada Newman and I will spotlight a different Roots Texas artist, one of the people responsible for the reputation that Texas music has around the world, and play a song or two by them. But it's from way back then, so far, that it's actually in the public domain. It's yours,
tails,
as a matter of fact. Yeah, everything was in a sepia tone and in tails. And
you wrote on rocks.
Yes, yeah. And we didn't have wheels.
Yeah. Well, we should show them this clip.
Show the clip. Hi there, I'm Guy Forsyth.
And I'm Nevada Newman.
And this is the public domain. Here we will investigate some of the origins and roots of the great music of Texas, spotlighting on the artists that invented and made it. Mm-hmm. And today we are going to talk about Blind Lemon Jefferson.
Known to family and friends as simply Lemon Henry Jefferson.
And he is one of the great founders of the music that we know as the blues today. One of the first recording artists who was successful enough and sold enough records to actually pay for a family and child.
He's from way back, born in the 19th century.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Wow. So when was he born? It was
1893?
1893, as a matter of fact.
In
Couchman, Texas, which is no longer there.
We don't even know where it is.
Yeah, we've no idea.
I looked, I couldn't figure it out. It doesn't exist.
Somewhere up there, we don't know.
It could be right down the street from here. It could be part of a...
It's right behind me right now, isn't it? But that's not what we came here to talk about. We're going to talk about music and more about Blind Lemon Jefferson. And first, we're going to do a gospel song that he recorded entitled He Rose from the Dead.
He Rose from the Dead.
So it might be a zombie story, we're not sure.
We'll just
try to figure it out.
It could be Jesus was a zombie for at least a few minutes.
At least a few minutes.
Half a day or something? I don't know how to start.
He was so ahead of the curve.
All right, well, let's do this one.
Let's play some music.
Yeah, all right. He rose
Yes.
Carried away by angels.
Yes, zombies were a thing going all the way back into the 1920s.
Blind Lemon Jefferson was the man. The man. Huge influence on rock and roll. Matchbox Blues, anyone? Carl Perkins, the Beatles did Matchbox Blues.
Matchbox Blues, one of the 500 most important rock songs of all time, as decided by, who was it? Some
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Rock and Roll Hall
and
of
he
Fame.
was, the first year of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was one of the people inducted.
Yeah, and inducted in the Blues Hall of Fame as well. And I got his trading card too. I'm very proud of that.
Oh, I just remember that. Worth anything yet?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm holding on to him because I think a couple of years from now it's all going to turn around.
You gotta hold on.
So Blind Lemon Jefferson died in Chicago on December 19th of 1929. Apparently he got lost in a snowstorm and suffered a heart attack after that. Paramount Records paid to send his body back home to Texas, and he was buried in, let me see, what was the name? It was the Wortham Negro Cemetery. His grave was unmarked until 1967 when a gravestone was erected and a Texas historical marker was set up. A new gravestone was set up in 2007 and they changed the name of the cemetery to the Blind Lemon Memorial Cemetery. And on his graves are the words, "See that my grave is kept clean." And this is another one of his songs, "One Kind Favor I Would Ask of You." Well, it's one kind favor I'd ask of you. Well, it's one kind favor I'd ask of you. Well, it's one kind favor I'd ask of you. See that my grave is kept clean. Well, there's two white horses in a line. Well, there's two white horses in a line. Well, there's two white horses in a line carrying me to my burying ground. Now, have you ever heard that coffin sound? Now, have you ever heard that coffin sound? Have you ever heard that coffin sound? Oh, they're carrying me to my burying ground. Oh, have you ever heard that church bell toll? Oh, have you ever heard that church bell toll? Have you ever heard that church bell toll? Oh, now I believe what that Bible told. Oh, my heart stopped beating, my hands turned cold. Well, my heart stopped beating and my hands turned cold. Well, my heart stopped beating and my hands turned cold. Oh, Lord, I believe what the Bible told. Thank you very much. My name's Guy Forsyth.
I'm Nevada Newman.
And this is the Public Domain. Love that Nevada Newman. Great musician, great guy. And that was the Public Domain. We'll try to have something special for you each week.
Oh, but we have a comment here from one of our watchers.
Oh, yes?
Ken Stahl. He's here in Austin, Texas. He says, great trivia. The information's actually bouncing around up in my brain. Having lived in Chicago, I gained a lot of knowledge by studying the blues while there. Sad how he passed.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in Chicago in the winter too and felt the wind coming off the lake. And you could die from that right there. It's a hard place to winter. But we get to live the life of Riley here in Austin, Texas, heaven on earth. And so what do we have next?
We're going to learn a little bit of what's going on in the music community here in Austin, Texas with Patrick Buchta, who is one of the people in charge of Austin, Texas Musician. It is something you can join for free if you go online. But you know what? He's going to tell you all that. So this is Patrick.
What we've heard so far with the SAVES funding for venues is that now venues, I believe 35, and it may be more than that, venues have received $20,000 payouts to help them get through the next few months until we get some of that Save Our Stages money coming down and some other aid. With the city's SAVES program, this initial flow of money was about 1 million, and there's still another 4 million to go out to venues. So the picture is going to be a lot better for our music industry going into 2021, and we feel great about that.
What can we do as mere citizens to help things along? Is there anything that we can do?
Sure. I think it's just we just want musicians to stay involved and stay aware. And learn about everything that affects you in the community. I think we saw over this last year that musicians have a real political voice. We were the ones who showed up to request that money for venues, and it happened. We were the ones who showed up to vote for the Live Music Fund, and that happened. And over the next few months, we're going to see the Live Music Fund actually start to roll out. We've got some, our organization, Austin, Texas Musicians, has a meeting the first week of February with the Economic Development Department to kind of see what the parameters are going to be around that program and getting that remaining 4 million out to venues. And with that, we're going to see a major overlay of equity in that venues are going to need to adhere to these certain equity recommendations and reporting on paying musicians fairly and things like that. So it's a really good way to kind of reset the industry, maybe even with more equitable parameters than we've had in the past.
Well, that's also really helpful for musicians.
Absolutely.
And like you said, we are a huge community, just the Austin musicians within the Austin community.
Absolutely.
And when we all work together, we can make change.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think, to that very point, I don't think last week we talked much about the work that our musicians advisory panel does, but, we knew when we started this effort that we needed, if we say that we're the trusted voice of Austin musicians, we need to make sure to bring those musicians' voices to the table. So what we did at about this time last year was we took applications for our musicians advisory panel. And so we brought in musicians representative of every genre, every diverse community, and every council district in Austin to start to advise us and represent their communities. And that work resulted in really 3 main areas. The first one being our ATXM Fair Pay team, who worked with the local Austin Federation of Musicians, 433, the union, to come up with fair pay standards so that these can be used as a best practices guide when these venues start to reopen. And maybe by adhering to some basic standards of pay, these venues can be eligible to unlock this special level of benefits and things like that. Another team we enacted was our ATXM Votes committee. With the election, we realized how important it was to get people registered to vote. And as an organization, we're never, ever, ever going to tell anyone how to vote. We just want them to vote, and we want them to be educated and informed when they go vote. So our votes team, led by Scott Strickland and Christina Flores, actually managed to get 700 plus new voters registered in Travis County. We partnered up with the League of Women Voters and with the Travis County Tax Office Voter Registration Department to educate our community and get all this great information out there to let people know how to get to the polls safely and to learn about all the issues at play. So that was great. And then lastly, we have what's called our ATXM Reach committee, okay? And that's made up of representatives from our Black musicians, Latin, Asian, LGBTQ, and women musicians, all coming to the table to talk about equity for them. What do their communities need? How can their voices be represented? We've just barely begun to scratch the surface on that work, but we're really excited to kind of bring everyone's voices to the table and be representative of all these communities in the best way that we can. So, I say all these things because we're actually coming around to our application period for the Musicians Advisory Panel in 2021. And we're going to do things a little differently this year. We're going to be looking for people in the community, musicians in the community, who are already active, who have projects that they're working on to give back to our community, to help people who want to show up and do the work, and who really have a heart for service. We want people who can come in and just want to give back and help. So
people with servants' hearts. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. There's a lot that goes into all of this, and thanks for explaining it, because I know that it's an important group, but I mean, it's a very active group. There are things that you're doing that are definitely helping sculpt the music scene right now. Right now it's happening.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to believe so. I mean, that this work has been really profound. I can tell you this. So, this year, with all the volunteer work that our MAP members are doing and all these great programs we have up and running, we're going to be applying for grants citywide and nationwide to try to fund some of those programs and pay those musicians for some of the work that they're doing for free right now. So
you've got applications coming out soon.
Sure.
For that. When is that going to be? Do you know?
Yeah, we'll have those applications up and running probably by the end of January and start that process of bringing in some new members.
So something that's going on in our city right now that's so important. I mean, there's so many things going on that's important, but holy smokes, guys, we're level 5 COVID right now in Austin, Texas. They are readying the convention center to be used as a hospital, because we're just so full. And I'm still going to the end of my street and seeing tons of kids playing basketball together at the basketball court. I'm seeing gatherings. Guy and I went and ate the other day, and I'm not going to say where, but we went and ate, and outside seating is what we requested. So they took us outside, and it was a tent. It was a plastic tent. There's nothing outside about it. I mean, as a city, and especially as entertainers and musicians and people that have a platform to have people listen and hear what we think and feel, oh my goodness, people, stay home.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we've been in this thing so long now that there's almost this sort of unspoken sense of just like, we're tired, we're over it, let's get back to normal. And we just can't do that yet. I know a lot of musicians are taking gigs or even feel pressured to take gigs that maybe they don't feel safe to take yet, but they need the money, and we just still, want to tell everybody out there to be safe, because this thing is, not only is it not over, but it seems to be picking up steam.
Yeah, we're almost there. I mean, we have there is
Mhm.
a vaccine.
Yep.
It's going to take a while to get here. So let's not all
Exactly.
give up and just lose it completely right before the end. We're so close, everyone.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It's always darkest before the dawn, isn't it? But we're almost there. And if we can just hang on a little while longer, I mean, the vaccine and then all these great programs that are going to help us get back to work when the lights come on again.
I see hope. I still feel hope. I still feel very vibrant and alive, as our music community is as well.
I do too. Yeah.
And just because we're home for another couple months doesn't mean that we have forgotten you. It doesn't mean that you're
Of
unimportant.
course. Yeah.
And it's all going to be okay. There's a pandemic that happened 100 years ago, and
Yep.
my grandmother went through it, and I'm here. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, you'll get through it. We just all have to be smart and just sit a little
Exactly.
longer, just a little longer. And so you have, I think it is in an advisory board meeting. You have some sort of meeting coming up soon.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, on Thursday of this week, that's right.
Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow morning at noon, actually, we've got something that I really hope all our musicians who are songwriters and content creators tune into. I believe not many of us probably understand how the music modernization works and how that affects our licensing and what the MLC is. That's the Mechanical Licensing Collective. So, if any of you guys out there are songwriters and publish your works, please tune in to this informative webinar. This is being hosted by Chris Castle, longtime entertainment lawyer in Austin, and another amazing entertainment attorney named Gwendolyn Seal. She's pretty knowledgeable in her own right. I say that because I know Gwen pretty well. And this webinar is going to be really instrumental in just kind of learning how to navigate this stuff with your music business. We're hosting this with the Texas Accountants and Lawyers for the Arts, who do not get enough credit in this community for all the hard work they do for our musicians, and also with the Austin Music Foundation, whom we love so much. So that's where to be tomorrow morning at noon. Y'all please tune in. If you need any,
Where do they go?
Well, if you need any information for it, you can probably find it right on our homepage, ATX Musicians on Facebook, and the private group that so many of us are a part of. Going to be some great information that's really going to benefit us all. So.
Well, this is really exciting. I like the idea of this kind of being maybe the start of a little place where people can go once a week to kind of get, the cliff notes of important information in Austin.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and as always, it's just also really great for me to be able to talk to you, so I feel like I know what's going on. Well, thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so much, Jessica. We'll see you next week.
Going on right there. And it's good to have such advocates for the music scene. I'm tremendously grateful for the extremely educated legal help that is being offered here to musicians, because in their self-defense, artists need to have such friends who understand the law, because the musicians have often been treated like a renewable resource. Yeah. And, have you seen what they do to renewable resources?
Well, they deplete them.
Yeah, a lot of
Don't
clear cutting and
stuff. I'm signed up to be in that webinar tomorrow.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn some stuff. And thanks, Patrick, for being on the show. I think everyone that's on the show, I think this is really exciting. We have Glenda here, who is like, is the cat's name Sealy? Yes, it is.
Yes, so
this is him.
Sealy came from a club called Sealy Flats in San Angelo, which is where I met Jess. Yeah. She was running that blues club, and she hired me to play, and that was how we met.
Yeah, and I found this little dude that night. So Sealy is as old as our friendship is, I guess, as being my cat. A little bit extra.
I'm sure you had a long career before that.
Yeah. I'm excited to introduce this next guest.
Oh, yes, this is exciting.
This is Dan Johnson. You might know him online as Danimal Johnson, but Dan. And he knows a lot of really cool insider information for the music industry. He knows how lots of instruments work. He gives lessons. He takes lessons.
He works on the road. He works in the studio. Yeah. And he's, amongst other things, a steel guitar player, so you know he's also probably insane. And
he's my friend. This is Dan.
Hello, everybody. My name's Dan Johnson, and welcome to my very first episode of Making the Most of Your Musical Lockdown. And I kind of want to focus on taking the time that we've got. We have a lot of free time. We're not able to do things that we used to do. And what do we do with that time? Well, let's try practicing. Let's play some music. Let's pick up a guitar or whatever. And this episode today is going to kind of focus on taking a guitar that maybe you like it, maybe you don't, maybe it's a piece of garbage, maybe you find something cool in a pawn shop, whatever the case may be, taking that and making it into a slide guitar. The first part of this is, what do I have to do to play slide? Is it some, mystical thing? Well, not really. It can be, but for the most part, all you need is one of these. It's a slide. You can go to your music store. You might even have an old socket wrench or something. Don't get your finger caught, though. This is a professionally made one. And they only cost a few bucks at your local music store. And you can get it, and sometimes they'll have information on different tunings, so you can tune your guitar different. It's really exciting, really fun, And I started doing this when I was in high school, and I would play in a lot of bands. And the minute I'd break this out and start messing around on slide, they'd really like it, or they'd go, oh, that's horrible, whatever. But either way, I learned from it. I learned to get better at it and changed it into something more. And that's what I want to tell you, that you can do the same. That go to your local music store, you can get a slide, you can get any kind of material, metal one, this one's a glass one, and they have different tones. A lot of people say, well, what finger should I wear it on? I don't know. Like Joe Walsh, he does this number, and so-and-so, this guy does this, and I'm a pinky slide player myself. And the reason I play pinky slide is because it gives you access to your other digits. And maybe you're not playing a special open tuning, a tuning of a chord. Maybe you're playing standard guitar tuning. Well, that way you still have these three and you can get your jam on that way as well. And what's the difference? A metal slide is going to give you more of an abrasive sound. Get your George Thorogood on, and I prefer a glass slide a lot of times, but there are situations where I need the metal, I need the aggression. The glass slide is something you're going to use for more of a singing tone. You want your Allman Brothers kind of thing going on, glass slide. Okay, you want to get a little aggressive, bust out the metal, And the other thing today, too, is if you have a guitar that is something that doesn't have a high action on it, you want to make it able to play as a slide guitar, you can go to your local music store and buy this. This is called a nut extender. Okay, these are real nifty. They take any guitar and they turn it instantly into a slide guitar. And that's pretty cool. It fit right on here, where the strings meet the neck. Yeah, it goes over, doesn't cause any damage, very inexpensive. These are only like 10, 12 bucks. You can order them online, Stu Mac, Sweetwater, places like that have that. And then the other thing is tunings. What am I going to tune it to? Mine is tuned to an open E chord. It's not standard guitar, doesn't sound good when I play guitar chords on it because it's specifically meant for slide. Now, you don't have to do what I do. You can kind of come up with your own thing, experiment. That's the fun part about this. You can take an old guitar you haven't used in years, and maybe it sounds bad as a guitar, but it sounds great as a slide guitar. And matter of fact, a lot of the old cheap ones actually sound better as slide guitars than regular guitars anyway. So you can save money, you can pawn shop, you can thrift store, you can go online, eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, wherever you want to go, and get you a guitar if you don't have one at all and you're not a guitar player, but you want to try this. You can find things for like $50, $100. And, you know, if you want to do it on an acoustic, you can even do it on an acoustic and sound great. Really kind of add to your arsenal, if you will. And so you bring more to the band or a solo performance or recording than just the average guitar player. Well, I play slide guitar too. You can teach yourself. It's not hard. Anybody can do it. And again, if you have any questions, there's a whole website called www.Brad's Page of Steel, and he has all these tunings for you. All these tunings that you never knew existed that you can use on your guitar if you don't want to use the standard guitar tuning. And if you have any questions or want to ask me anything about this subject, I'm going to go as these episodes go along, and I'm going to get into different things you can do with guitar to make you stand out. And you can do it on a budget, because no one likes paying a lot of money for a bunch of stuff that doesn't really work. We want cheap, we want effective, and that's where I'm about it. So anyway, my name's Dan Johnson. You can reach me at Dan Johnson Pedal Steel Guitar at yahoo.com and Danimal Johnson on Facebook. And I'd like to say, tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Channel 16, Austin Music TV. Y'all have a good one and be safe out there.
It down for you. He's a great musician, and if you are hankering to get some music in your hands and be as close as you can to the thing that you love, that's a great way in. That's certainly the reason why I became a musician, because I'm a fan and I wanted to get as close to it as I could, and it turns out that this is the best seat in the house. I hope everybody out there who's interested takes some time to learn how to play an instrument, because it's one of the best things, one of the best experiences that I've had in my life, and it's something that you can do. These are folk instruments, and you can do this.
Yeah. If you like the show, there's a link that's just so conveniently located. And also, you can visit patreon.com/Guy Forsyth, where we have just decided we're going to start listing all the Patreons that we have in the credits at the end of every show, because really, 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 we appreciate you so much. For as little as $5 a month, you can be a patron, and you don't know how much peace of mind that gives our family.
And that's what allows us the ability to create, to write songs, learn how to play instruments, put together this show. Jess has been cooking this up for the past 2 days, so it takes a lot of work to make this hour of television, but, well, you're worth it.
You are worth it. I want to say thank you to Jacqueline, to Dan, Patrick, Nevada. Everybody got me their videos on time. I so appreciate it. Guy and I are in some songwriting groups, and I think that we're going to do both of them, but we only can get one more on TV. And I think you should play your song.
All right. Well, this is a song I wrote with Jeff Plankenhorn, and it's brand new, so we'll try to see how this sounds. Drop on me dead to rights. You only caught me 'cause it ain't a fair fight. My hands are wet, my wallet's stuffed. No monkey tells this man enough is enough. It's not my fault, I got a bad start. Nothing in your stomach is bad for your heart. Treated so poorly, it's just self-defense. Crime after crime, I ate the evidence. The badge needs a straw man to blame. Tossing honest man into the flame. Well, if I'm going down, you're coming too. If you want to burn, I'm burning you. Well, I'm burning you. You broke your mind if you think that I'm gonna carry this load to the end of the line. I've done my swindling, my brothers are dwindling. I need some smoke, and you look like kindling. The dance needs a straw man to blame. Tossing on this man onto the flame. Well, if I'm going down, you're going too. If you want to burn, well, eyed sheeple, ain't seen nothing yet.
Thank you for watching. Join us on Facebook for the rest of the song.
Got my story in the front page, trending number one with a bullet, so stop pretending. Playing the saint when you're a sinner too. Misery loves company, and I love every single one of you. Man needs a straw man to play. Toss an honest man into the flame. If you're going down, I'm coming too. If you wanna burn, I'm burning you. I'm burning you. I'm burning you.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I understand. If you're still with us, then you're not watching television. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. We want to thank you for being a part of this show and tuning in. You want to sing your new song?
Sure, I can try to sing my new song. I'm gonna let the little dog in though, because she'll just
I'll get the dog.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot I have to do it by myself. That's terrifying. So I'm in a songwriting group led by Dave Madden. It's
The 1159 song.
the 1159 song group, and so yeah, I just have a little bit of pressure to write a song. This is the third song I've ever written by myself. I have no idea what it's called. Maybe you can help me with that. And I don't know what the bridge is yet. So you'll hear some parts that sound like, does she know this song? And it's because she doesn't, because I'm still writing it. But I like what I got so far. I'm gonna tune just because I care. Happy to see Ken Stahl here tonight in the watching group, and Glenda. Hi. It's always nice to see familiar names. I guess now it's not so much faces as names. And S. Johnson, thanks for tuning in on YouTube. All right, here we go. Wanna break my heart, wanna make me cry, wanna watch me fall apart. That's how we go. Wanna fall in love, so we can all fall down. Wanna tell me your deepest secrets, darkest desires. End up back on the ground. Let's fall in love. Wanna make me cry, wanna prove me wrong, wanna scream goodbye from behind our walls. Wanna say I do, then change your mind. Wanna work so hard to build trust, to mess it all up, leave me feeling empty inside. Let's fall in love. Wanna try again, wanna hold me close, wanna turn back time to see how this will go. Wanna kiss my tears, wanna kiss my nose, decide to do it all again, 'cause you're my best friend. This is how it goes. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Dinner's on the stove and we're ready to eat.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you all. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Thanks to everybody who's able to donate through PayPal or Venmo or all those different things.
Thank you to our executive producer, Miss Sheila Steele at Austin Music TV. And it's in conjunction with the Austin Film Society, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And we'll be here next week.
And we all are counting the days till we get to hug your sweaty neck.
Oh, yes. I can't wait. Be here next week. We'll be live on all of these platforms a couple minutes before 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, we will go live on Channel 16. Thanks for being here with us.
Wait, what do I do with the snake again when it's in the bag?
Once the snake's in the bag, put
when
the clip
the snake's
on it.
in the bag, clip it.
And just put it in the